The sun bled orange across the high plains of the New Mexico territory, turning the dust on the Barbecue Ranch into drifting gold. Caleb Quinn leaned against the corral fence, head pushed back, sweat carving pale lines through the grime on his neck. 29 years old, broad as an axe handle, and alone. His wife and little boy had gone to fever 4 winters back, and the big house behind him had stayed too quiet ever since. Most nights he slept in the bunkhouse with the hands just to hear another man breathing. Hoofbeats rose on the evening wind, sharp and fast. Caleb straightened. Nobody rode that hard this late unless there was blood or fire. A bay mare burst through the cottonwoods lining the creek, lather flying from her flanks. The rider wore black, skirt bunched high, and even at a distance Caleb knew that proud set of shoulders. Abigail Harlan. The sheriff's wife. She pulled up so hard the mare sat back on her haunches. Dust rolled over Caleb like smoke. Abigail slid from the saddle without waiting for help, boots hitting the ground like thrown gauntlets. Her dark hair had come half loose, framing a face pale as fresh cream, green eyes blazing with something between fury and fear. "Caleb," she said, voice low, almost hoarse. "I need to talk." Inside. He opened his mouth to ask what madness brought the sheriff's wife out here alone after sunset, but the look she gave him swallowed the words whole. He jerked his chin toward the house. She marched ahead of him like she owned the place, spurs singing. Inside, the kitchen still smelled of coffee and bacon grease. A single lamp burned on the table. Abigail didn't sit. She stood with her back to the window, hands knotted in front of her black riding skirt, knuckles white. "Close the door," she said. Caleb shut it, dropped the latch. The click sounded louder than a shotgun. "Abby, if this is about the water rights feud." "It's not." She drew a breath that lifted her whole body. "I want a child, Caleb. From you." The words hit him like a .44 slug to the chest. He stared, mouth half open, certain he'd misheard. When she didn't laugh or take it back, the silence grew teeth. He found his voice. "You're married to Tom Harlan. The sheriff. Man who put 3 of the Chavez boys in Boot Hill last spring. You ride out here and ask me." "I'm asking," she cut in, stepping closer, "because Tom can't give me one. The doc in Santa Fe confirmed it last month. Bullet shard too close to the spine years ago. He'll never father children." Her voice cracked on the last word, then steadied again, hard as winter iron. "Tom knows I'm here. He gave me his blessing, if you can believe it. Said a man's name is all he can leave behind, and if it can't carry his blood, better it carry his pride." Caleb's knees felt loose. He gripped the back of a chair. "Jesus Christ, Abby. Don't blaspheme at me. I've thought on this for weeks. Prayed on it. I'm 31 years old. I want a child before I'm too old, and I'll be damned if I let busy tongues in town raise one that isn't mine by right. You're a good man. Strong. Honest. Your boy looked just like you, everybody said so." Her eyes softened a moment, remembering the child buried on the hill. Then the steel came back. "One time, Caleb. No one ever needs to know except the 3 of us. The baby will have Tom's name, grow up in his house, learn to pin that star on straight. But it will have your blood. My blood. Real family." He turned away, stared at the cold cook stove. The thought of touching Abigail Harlan, of touching any woman again, felt both sacred and wrong. He'd loved his Mary with every inch of his soul, and the grave was still fresh enough that wildflowers grew on it. Yet here stood this fierce, beautiful woman offering him something wilder than sin and twice as desperate. "You're asking me to cuckold the law itself," he said quietly. "I'm asking you to give me the only thing in this world I still want that's out of reach." She moved closer until he could smell horse and lavender water in the faint heat of her skin. "Look at me, Caleb Quinn." He did. Those green eyes held no flirtation now, only raw pleading wrapped in courage. He felt something shift inside him, an old wall cracking. "Tom really agreed to this?" he asked. "He cried," she whispered. "First time I ever saw him cry. Then he saddled my horse himself." Caleb dragged a hand down his face. The room seemed too small, the air too thick. Outside, a coyote yipped somewhere down by the creek, lonely as a graveyard whistle. One condition, he said at last. If we do this, it happens here. Tonight. And tomorrow you ride away and we never speak of it again unless the child someday asks questions. I won't be a shadow father haunting your doorstep. Abigail's shoulders sagged with relief so strong she swayed. Agreed. She reached up, unpinned her hair the rest of the way, let it fall like black water over her shoulders. Then, deliberate as a woman drawing a pistol, she began, unbuttoning her bodice. Caleb's heart hammered so hard he could feel it in his teeth. He stepped forward, caught her hands. Abby, are you sure? I've never been surer of anything. Her voice trembled only once. He kissed her then, not gentle, not rough, but honest. She tasted like coffee and urgency. Her fingers dug into his shoulders like she was drowning and he was sure. Clothes fell away in the lamplight, piece by piece, until there was nothing left but skin and need and the ghosts of two lost families watching from the corners. Later, much later, they lay tangled in his narrow bed under a quilt Mary had pieced the winter before she died. Abigail's head rested on his chest, one hand splayed over his heart as if measuring it for size. Moonlight striped the floor through the open window. Whatever comes, she murmured, thank you. He stroked her hair, staring at the ceiling beams. Whatever comes, he echoed. Outside, the mare nickered softly, waiting. Somewhere in town, Sheriff Tom Harlan sat alone on his porch with a bottle and a loaded Colt, counting stars and praying his wife came home safe with the future in her belly. And on the Barque Ranch, two people who had both buried love dared to dig it up again, just for one night, just long enough to plant something that might outlive them all. If this story gripped your heart and left you hungry for what happens when secrets this big start to root in a small western town, hit that subscribe button right now and ring the bell. The next chapter drops in 3 days, trust me, you don't want to miss the reckoning when the truth starts showing. See you on the trail, partners. 9 months later, Dust Creek buzzed like a kicked hive. Abigail Harlan stepped down from the buckboard in front of the mercantile, belly swollen tight beneath a calico dress, face glowing the way only impending mothers glow. Folks tipped hats, grinned too wide, asked after the sheriff. Tom rode beside her, ramrod straight, pride shining brighter than his badge. Nobody noticed how his eyes flicked to the Barque brand on a distant herd whenever Caleb Quinn's name came up. Caleb hadn't slept proper since that night. He worked himself hollow, branding, riding fence, anything to keep from thinking. Yet every time he passed the hill where Mary and little Jacob lay, he felt new eyes watching, eyes that weren't born yet but already carried his chin and Abby's fire. Then the letter came. A Mexican vaquero delivered it at dusk, handed it over without a word, spurred away. Caleb broke the plain wax seal with a thumb that shook. If it's a boy we'll name him Cole, after your father. If it's a girl, Colleen. Tom insists on Harlan, and I won't fight him. But you deserve to know the kicking is strong and the doc says soon. I still taste you when I'm alone. Burn this. He burned it. Watched the paper curl black, felt it sear something inside him all the same. Labor started on a Tuesday, thunder rumbled and hot. Tom rode for the midwife while lightning stitched the sky. Caleb was 30 miles out, moving cattle ahead of a norther, when the pain hit him like a phantom cramp low in his gut. He reined up so hard his horse sat back, certain sure as death he felt Abigail scream. He turned west, rode like hell itself chased him. By the time he reached the ridge above town, lamps blazed in the sheriff's house. He sat his horse in the dark, rain lashing his slicker, watching shadows move behind curtains. A baby's thin cry cut the storm, sharp, furious, alive. Caleb's eyes burned hotter than the lightning. He touched 2 fingers to his hat brim, a silent promise to someone too small to understand it yet, then wheeled his horse and vanished into the night. Back at the ranch he drank half a bottle of rye and never tasted it. Dawn found him on the porch, staring at nothing, when Tom Harlan rode up alone. The sheriff looked 10 years older, eyes red-rimmed but steady. He dismounted slow, like his bones hurt. It's a boy, Tom said. 8 pounds. Got lungs like a bull and your damn stubborn chin. Caleb couldn't speak. Tom stepped closer. I came to say thank you. And to say stay away. For good. Anything else breaks her heart, and I'll kill you legal or not. He offered his hand, not friendship, just understanding between 2 men who'd traded something words can't name. Caleb took it. Grip hard, brief. Tom mounted, paused. His name's Cole Harlan. But he's got your eyes, Quinn. God help us all. He rode off. Caleb watched till the rain swallowed him, then looked toward the hill where his first family slept. Got another one coming, Mary, he whispered to the wind. Hope you'll forgive me watching from a distance. Far below, in a warm room smelling of blood and lye, Abigail pressed her newborn to her breast and smiled through exhaustion, knowing one secret would stay buried, and another had just drawn its first breath screaming defiance at the world.